everybody. Welcome back. The newest episode of Chaotically Intolerant. Um, Obviously, it's just me right now. Nobody else is here. We have an interview or a guest this week for our draft. We're doing two drafts in a row this week. We're going to do a logo draft. So that's going to be one sports team, one college or college sports team, um, one car company, one restaurant, and then a miscellaneous business. But you can't reuse the old the other categories. Basically, you can't take two sports teams. Um, but yeah, I mean, I just wanted to do a little introduction. Don't forget, Gridiron Chaos is dropping this week. Wednesday, football is on Thursday. But Wednesday, Gridiron Chaos drops. A little preview for the NFL season. Remember, we're probably going to do about 20 episodes of that. And then, we're only doing during the season. So remember that. Catch Chaotically Intolerant Classic on our YouTube again. Um, we drop it. We have a bunch of different formats for you. So like if you want to watch just episodes, we just dropped episodes, just like it cut up in episodes. We have a compressed version where you just get to watch like the game-winning shots, some of the best parts basically, and all the confessionals. We have the black label version, and that is basically the version that I wanted. I have my own, but it's censored. Then we have the regular one that dropped on the original drop date. So we're gonna keep milking this thing out. Keep posting clips and stuff of it. So those of you who are new, we're starting to gain newer listeners. Pretty cool. So welcome to those of you who are new. And thanks for listening. If you are, another listener has been listening to us for a while. So without further ado, let's get to that. Let's get to that guest. Yeah. Welcome to the show.
Thank
Happy
you
to
for
have you.
having me. I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be interesting
Yeah.
for me.
It's just very interesting for all of us. So we have another guy coming. He said he was running a
Okay.
few minutes late, but you want to go into a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself to the audience?
Okay, we're on now.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're going. Some of that stuff will be cut out, that was just dead
Okay.
air, but
Okay. Fair enough. Well, my name is Craig Estlinbaum. I'm in Texas, on a small town between southwest of Houston, where I've lived all my life pretty much. And I'm a lawyer by trade, but I have a podcast. How we kind of came across each other was through podcasting. I have a podcast called Hooks and Runs. We call it a podcast about baseball, music, and culture. And
mhm.
so we do all kinds of things on the podcast. We've done everything from um, obviously a lot of baseball during baseball season. Our
Yeah.
last episode was about college football, and
Hmm.
we've interviewed musicians, historians, authors on a lot of different types of subjects. So the off season is we get what we can there, but during baseball season, it's mostly baseball.
Okay.
But we are interested in college football, and I'm a big college basketball fan too. So some of the off season we do that, but yeah, the show's been about a third, maybe to 40% interviews, and the rest has been just us talking about whatever the events of the day are or the week.
So do you have a co-host that's on with you?
We have two. I have two co-hosts. Andrew's very close to y'all's age. He's in his 20s,
Hmm.
and then the guy that takes care of our sound and engineering and so forth is Rex. He is not a sports fan, really. He does not come from that background, but he has really taken to wanting to learn about it. And he Rex and I are musicians. We both have bands,
Hmm.
and so he's a heavy metal guy by interest. So and a history buff. So a few weeks ago we just off the cuff did a show about players whose careers were interrupted by World War II, and his encyclopedic knowledge of World War II matters was very valuable. So I just mentioned a battle, and he's got all. I mean, he's got all the details. At any point, we could have gone off the rails and done an hour on just World War II battles, but it was a fun little episode that we did.
Yeah, we do a lot of we go off on little tangents about many different things. I think we were talking football a few weeks ago, and then I just ran off about New York, and I'm a Red Sox fan, so I just really tore into the city of New York. I tore into the Yankees, into the Mets, like the whole thing. And then I was just
Well, I
like,
knew you were a
okay,
Red Sox fan.
yeah, I'm a diehard Red Sox
Yeah.
fan. We're on a 4 game win streak right now. We want to talk a little baseball. We're
Well,
only
that's
seven
good
out.
because the Red Sox are hanging on to the dream of a wild card. That's about the best they can do right now.
The wild card spot that didn't exist last year, first of all.
Right.
I think
Yeah,
that second wild
exactly.
card spot is the saddest thing they've done. I mean, the American League team that's gonna get in there is gonna be like average at best, in my opinion. You have you're looking at maybe Toronto, Baltimore, Seattle, like there's a few of those teams, and those teams just they suck. They're not I don't think they're too
Yeah,
much better
I
than the
mean
Red
that.
Sox.
Yeah, Baltimore's been kind of an interesting follow for us because I really didn't give them much of a chance to do anything, and
Hmm.
then they kind of got hot, and then they traded their one of their better hitters, Trey Mancini,
Mancini,
to
yeah, he went to Houston.
us. Right, and then they traded Jorge Lopez, their all-star closer, to Detroit.
Hmm.
Right, and I think it was no, it wasn't Detroit. It was somebody else,
Oh, I think
Chicago
it
maybe.
was I don't think it was Chicago. It was I can't remember who it was. I
Well,
think
the
it was
Twins. It was the Twins. It
yeah,
was a team
the
in the
Twins are
Central.
kind of in it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a team in the Central. I don't know why I said Detroit. They're terrible. And then so they traded two of their best players to other contenders, and now they're still contending. I just think
I
it's a real story that they're
I
able to
think
do
they've played
this.
better. I think they've played a
Yeah.
lot better since they traded those guys. And like I said, they were terrible. I just
Well,
always think of the Orioles as terrible. They're just, to
yeah.
me, they're always like a poverty franchise in the AL East of,
Yeah, I think they were right at 500 when they made that trade, just on the edge of being competitive. And right now, going into today's game, they're 70 and 61, so they're about 9 games over 500 in the month since that trade. They had a really good August.
yeah,
Still not in the wild card.
I think I want to say since June started, they have had a better record than the Yankees. Like they've had a better record than pretty much anybody. They've
A
really
lot
turned
of
it
teams
on.
have had a better record.
Yeah.
A lot of teams have had a better record than the Yankees
I
since.
take a lot of pleasure in watching the Yankees collapse. That's something that I think we both can agree on is that we just
I
take
think so.
pleasure. And especially just how arrogant the Yankee fans were at the beginning of the year. And I
Yeah.
think even into July, they were saying this is going to be the greatest Yankees team ever. This might be the greatest baseball team of all time. I heard that take a few times. And now that they're losing to Tampa right now, 2-1, I think, and they're 6 up on the Rays in the beginning of September. I mean, that's not a comfortable lead for any division team.
No, it's not. Yeah. You just didn't see it coming that they would actually be in a possible pennant race for the American League East title back in June when they were red hot. I
I
think at one point they
figured
were 40,
they were
49 and
I think they
18
were
or something like
15
that.
games up at one point. They were 15 games
Yeah.
up, and I remember a lot of people were saying that, and I was like, the team hasn't gotten hurt yet. Like every team hits an injury bug at some point in the season. And I knew like once they got that injury bug, like Stanton was bound to get hurt. There's no doubt about it. He's too muscular to not get hurt. Severino went down. They lost. I think they did get Clay Holmes back, but they did lose him for a while. I think they lost a few other relievers. Like their pitching staff got decimated for a while, and they might start. I think they're starting to get healthy a little bit, but just the combination of seeing Aaron Boone slam on the table, like that kind of showed me
Yeah.
this team might be a little mentally weak. And if they can't have a good September, like teams who don't play good September baseball struggle heading into October. It wouldn't surprise me if they got bounced in the first round, even if they did win the division.
Yeah, I think the one that baffled me was trading Jordan Montgomery to
Yeah.
the Cardinals for Harrison Bader. I know they want a new center fielder, a different center fielder because what is it, Jordan Hicks? has
Yeah,
been really bad this
mhm.
year. And but Bader has been hurt and is still hurt. I don't think he's back in the lineup yet. And Jordan Montgomery has been like Mr. Cy Young since he went to the Cardinals.
He's
And
got
since
like a
he went to
sub
the
two
Cardinals,
ERA right now, I think.
yeah, 1.71 ERA with the Cardinals. And the Cardinals, since they traded for him, have been one of the best teams in the National League. They've put a lot of distance between themselves and the Brewers. But
Yeah.
the Yankees, I just don't see how the Yankees thought they had the pitching depth to trade Jordan Montgomery and not get a pitcher in return. I just that was kind of a baffling trade and kind of what you talked about, Yankee arrogance.
Yeah,
Um,
who's the GM? I always forget his name. He's been the biggest moron on the planet since he's been there, I think. It's I
his
can't
name
remember his
Cashman.
name. Cashman,
Cashman.
yeah. I just
Yeah,
say I don't see how he's had a job for so long. I know the Steinbrenners like to stick with their guys, but
yeah,
you think about those teams that they have had. Like they've had good teams, and what they always run out of gas in September and October. They get hot starts. You hear everything for like 4 months out of the season. It's the Yankees are back. The New York Post is posting, or on the front page, it's pictures of Yankee players, holding their hands up like they're the Kings, and then they always fall flat on their face in September. And it's not like it's been a few years of this. It's been 10 whenever since they last won the World Series. I mean, I think they've made the playoffs pretty consistently too since they won that World Series, and nothing has come of that.
yeah. They've been. It's been disappointing for them because they always have these high hopes, and then the Red Sox are better or the Rays, and that's got to hurt
Mm.
Yankee fans because Tampa runs on like a wing and a prayer down there in Tampa with that awful ballpark they have,
Well, yeah,
and they
we're I'm in
constantly.
Sarasota, Florida, so I'm about an hour or 45 minutes south of St. Pete. They're not even that they're the St. Pete Rays.
St.
I
Peter, yeah,
I call them the St. Petersburg Devil Rays. Just
yeah,
I like to piss them off. I like the Devil Ray name better, honestly. I think it's
I
cooler. I
did
think the
too.
uniforms were cooler. And then they changed it to this like just their logo. I'm sometimes I'm told it's a ray of sunshine. Other times I'm told it's a little bit like a silhouette of a ray.
Yeah,
So I don't know what it's supposed to be. The ballpark is, it's sad. I mean, the Rays like they win ball games. They don't get anybody though.
yeah,
Nobody shows up, and it's like I almost feel bad, and then I remember like, oh yeah, every once in a while I see this Rays fan that's just a complete dick when the Red Sox will lose, and I'm like, hey, you remember we have like 1, 2, 3, 4 rings since you guys have been a team, and then I get
yeah.
oh well, we're an expansion franchise, and I'm like, yeah, but you were there twice, couldn't do it. So I don't know, a little bit of a it just sucks. Like I kind of feel bad for him. I don't want him to move either.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably going to happen. But they just constantly lose players. They lost Tyler Glass now and Charlie Morton, and then they pick up Corey Kluber, and they just find these spare parts
Mm-hmm.
that just come in and do great once they get to Tampa. And you look at their lineup and who are these people, but they just score just enough runs. They've got two players on their whole team that have hit 10 home runs this year. And
Um, yeah, I mean, who's their rookie that they got? He's starting. I mean, he's probably going to be gone once he wants to sign an extension. They're not going to
yeah,
pay
but
him.
by then they'll have two more guys just like him coming in. I mean, that's what I'm saying. They just always find the spare parts. They cobble together a bullpen out of thin air,
Mm-hmm.
and it's usually a really good bullpen, and they just do it year after year. And I'm constantly underestimating their abilities to win, and then September rolls around, and I'm shocked that they're still you know competing in a division that has two of the richest teams in baseball, the Red Sox and the Yankees. So it's just an amazing operation that they have.
And even when they're not competing, they are so pesky
Yeah.
with those two division teams, especially when the Red Sox and Yankees are in a playoff race. And the Rays just, you have to go down to Tampa or they come up to Boston. And it's like, all
Yeah.
right, the Rays are like at 500 right now. It's September. And, this should be like 3 free wins, at least two of them. And then it's like, oh, they just took 2 out of 3 from you. Like for no reason because their start
Yes.
their two
Yeah.
starters go like a combined 16 innings, 1 earned run.
Yeah.
And like throughout the entire season, they had like a 5 ERA combined, and they just can't.
Yeah.
Like for some reason, they step on the gas. I have no clue why. Just something in that water down there. It
So,
just
yeah, it's something. I mean, for all the talk that Baltimore has about how they can't compete in the division with their resources, and then there's Tampa doing it every year, it's just insane.
and
But
Tampa went to a World Series. It's not like Oakland, where Oakland
right,
just can't get past the first or second round.
right,
They've
yeah,
showed me twice in the last what 10 years, 11
yeah,
years, more than
yeah,
that, probably around there. Um,
yeah. But they went in what was it, 90? They went in 2000, the year of the shortened season, lost to the Dodgers.
yeah, I mean, I'll give it to the Rays because it's the Rays. Like I'll let them have their flowers a little bit, I guess.
Mhm.
Like I don't count it for the Dodgers, though. I think the Dodgers are a little bit more of a what's the word prestigious
No,
organization.
yeah, I was just saying that they lost to them. I didn't say they were equal in payroll or fan support or
No,
anything like
I'm
that.
just saying I'll give it to them that they got to a World Series, basically.
Yeah,
Like I count
right,
that. For the
exactly.
Dodgers, I don't really count it. I put the asterisk on it. With it being the isolation series, basically. It
Right.
wasn't even a
Yeah.
World Series. They didn't even travel that much. I
Well,
think they were
they went to Arlington.
a little, I mean, a little bit of travel then.
Not where I would have picked to go in October, but
Yeah, let me I'm
Arlington
just gonna send
Arlington
this email to my
Arlington
guy
won the
real
draw.
send this email to my guy real quick. Um, so you're an Astros fan, Houston
Correct.
Astros fan. Got to get the elephant out of the room. It's been the elephant for a few years now. What do you consider that World Series a World Series?
I do, because I don't know. I don't think one of the things that we've talked about on our podcast, because our podcast started right when the story broke that
Mm-hmm.
Mike Fires and the Athletic and Evan Drellich and whoever the other writers were that broke that story. So we've talked periodically about that. I the thing about that for us, and what I think is, if you look at the 2020, I mean the 2017 season for the Astros, they scored 395 runs at home that year, and they scored 501 runs on the road, and that's minus 106. And I think the second closest, negative home was like minus 26, because normally teams do better at home than they do on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2018, the Astros supposedly were still using that trash can thing for some of the year, and then they stopped, midway through or whatever, and there was still a gap, a minus, more runs on the road than at home.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that stopped, then it flipped around the way it should have been. They started scoring more runs at home than on the road. That's been true ever since.
Yeah.
And I've always suspected that whole trash can thing was more harm than good, because you just have such a divided attention when you're trying to pick out in a noisy environment a particular sound, then have to refocus and actually hit the pitch. Now, it's obviously an advantage to know what's coming,
Yeah.
but that's a lot of shifting of attention in a short period of time. And I don't really know why they did that when, supposedly that came from Carlos Beltran and the Yankees, and Alex Cora, your manager now. They were supposedly the two ringleaders. Cora had to sit out a year, and Beltran was fired to the Mets. But the
I
Mets
think at the end of the day, that was a good thing for the Mets, anyways, getting Buck.
probably so.
Yo, what's up,
I,
boys?
Oh, that's our guy. What's up, Angel?
yeah.
Talking a little baseball here.
Oh shit, yeah, this ain't my topic.
You can sit back and then we'll get the draft ready when you're ready. All right.
All right, bro.
You'll probably need to get ready. Get some of your picks, anyways.
Yeah, bro.
All
Yeah.
right. Here, I'll just put you on mute so you can do whatever you want. All right.
All right, cool.
All right. So yeah, we were talking about the
Yeah.
Astros.
So
So as a lot of Red Sox fans, like we hate them for that, but I make the jokes about it, and it's fun to kind of do the trash can thing. But every team cheats. I think almost every team does it, and I think maybe the Astros just it was a little too much, and it got exposed on social media a little bit too. And that article did come out.
yeah, it did, and the Astros were the team that won. Of course, the Red
Mhm.
Sox were fined twice,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of talk about the Yankees, and some of that was supposedly originating from the Yankees. But other players have come out and talked about other teams trying to get some kind of advantage. I don't know why the Astros are the only team that did not use some type of electronic device. I mean, why were they using a trash can? That seems very bizarre to me, and I think that it plays out in the way the run scored came out. The
Mhm.
Astros aren't playing in a pitcher's park. Um, you know, Minute Maid Park is pretty favorable to hitters. So I'm not saying they didn't try to cheat. I'm just saying they picked a particularly ineffective way to do it based on the run scored numbers over the years. But they did win, and they won with great pitching, and they won with some good hitting when they needed it. But man, I'm gonna tell you, well, that, but it just kind of is what it is. I just think it's interesting that um, players on the Astros are getting booed that were not even on the team in 2017.
Yeah,
And
that does
one
make me laugh a little bit because
yeah,
I'm like,
it's like this guy was in the minor leagues in 2017. What are you
yeah, like
talking
this
about?
guy, like he played against them. Like he could have played for the
Right.
Dodgers, and then he goes there, and he's
And
like,
now
"What the
he's the
hell did
bad
I
guy.
do?"
So
I
yeah, it's kind of like a little cottage industry of just fun things to do. But I grew up an Astros fan, and for years, most baseball fans around the country couldn't name an Astro to save their soul. And we went from being the most little known, indifferent team in baseball to the most hated
mhm.
in like one fell swoop. And it's been kind of a change for an Astro fan to have people know who you are, whether it's good or bad. Even when we had some good years, like in 1981 or 80, it's like who are these Astros that are playing the Phillies for the go to the World Series or whatever. So
Yeah, I mean, you guys had Craig Biggio in the mid 2000s, like it started, and then I remember when you guys made the move from from the National League to the American League, and then they were just so bad. And that Sports
yeah,
Illustrated article
for
came out like predicting what was it like
yeah,
5 years ahead of time, and it was like the Houston Astros are going to
yeah,
win the World Series in 2017, and it has like the cut, it has Altuve and Correa and
right,
can't remember who else was on there, but it was like, oh, shut up, you guys are just putting
yeah.
some
George
stupid
Springer,
thing out
yeah,
there.
yeah,
And then hell, it happened.
yeah.
I mean,
They had it
that was great.
happened. Yeah, it
Whether
was a
people want
surprise.
to
So
go ahead, go ahead.
we had been to one World Series in 2005, and we lost in 4 games to the White Sox. That World Series was over before it started. I mean, I think we scored like 3 or 4 runs for the whole 4 games.
Hmm.
Chicago had great pitching in that World Series, and we just didn't hit at all. And you could just tell this was going to be a very quick World Series very early on.
Yeah,
And
that White Sox team was really good that year.
yeah, they had tons of pitching, and they didn't score a ton of runs against us, but when you're giving up 0 or 1 or maybe 2, it doesn't
Hmm.
really take a whole lot. So yeah, we had the one World Series. We had the great series against the Mets in 1986 that included that wild 16 inning game, I think it was in Game 5 or something, and that we lost to a very good Mets team that went on to win the World Series.
Against us.
against the Red Sox.
Buckner, the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't even alive for that, and I'm still like,
Yeah.
if I was alive, I might, melt into a million
Yeah.
pieces.
That was before your time, yeah.
Yeah.
So we won't hold that against you, but yeah, that was Well, we went through the same thing. I mean, we lost a close series to them also. We just didn't have the one incident that stood out.
Yeah, my dad was a kid. He was, I think he was 13 when that happened, and he said he used to watch the games up in like a specific room of the house, and he was super,
Yeah,
super, stupid or superstitious when he was a kid. And he comes down. He said he came down right before the Buckner play, and he
yeah,
goes, "Oh, we're gonna win." And his dad was like, "Why aren't you up there? You've been up there all series." And he goes, "Oh, it's fine." And somebody got a base hit, and he said he shot back up there, like up to the room, and then the Buckner thing happened. And for years, he was like, "That was my fault. I didn't stay up there." And it was like, no, Buckner had bad knees. He should not have been in that game. Like, he was at an age
yeah,
where he was known to have bad knees. I wasn't even born, and I know that. So I don't know what
yeah.
the manager was doing.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. They just didn't have another first baseman. I guess I don't know. I'd have to look on the roster and see who was on that team. But yeah, the Astros lost that game to the Mets, the game 6 in the Astrodome. Uh, it was 16 innings, but Billy Hatcher hit a solo home run to retie the game in the 14th. And I remember when that happened, we just could not believe it. We were just expecting it to be over. They played great. It was good baseball all the way through. All the games were close except for one. And then he hit the home run. And then the Mets scored 3 in the 16th. And then we scored 2 and put men on base. And I think it was Kevin Bass was the batter that made the last out, but I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably wrong about that. But for some reason, I'm thinking Kevin Bass. But yeah, I mean, until recently, our moments in the sun have been very short and very rare, to say the least. But
Well,
the
you
last
guys
time,
are right now the number one seed in the American League.
yes,
You guys have
thanks
a
to the Yankees
fantastic team.
collapse. Yeah, we're doing great. I thought Seattle would be better than they were, but they're really doing well lately. I thought it would be more of a race. I don't think it's going to be much of a race. It's 11 games difference going into today.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I think it's probably, what would it be, like a 95% chance you win? I think,
oh,
because
it's more than that.
on the
Yeah, they're
fan
11
graph
games
stuff.
back with they're 11 back. I don't see them, but they're definitely in the hunt for a wild card. And yeah, I don't know I'm looking at now. I found the roster for that team. The only other first baseman probably was Mike. Well, Mike Greenwell was on the team. I don't know how much first base he was playing then. He played first base. No, he didn't. I thought he did. They just didn't have. That's what they had at first. Dave Stapleton, did he play first base some, but barely maybe?
I don't even know. I've never even
Yeah.
heard those names before. I think actually Dave Stapleton sounds familiar. My dad might have like his baseball card or something, and
Yeah,
I've like been going through it and I saw it.
You talking about the 86 Red Sox is like me talking about the 41 St. Louis Browns or something. It's like before you're born.
I've like when I was younger, I think I was more of a stat head, I guess, when I was
Yeah.
younger. Now that I'm older, just I don't know what it is. It's just maybe baseball is different. Like, I think the game has changed since 5-6 years ago. I think it's changed a lot. Like
Yeah.
in 2013, that Red Sox team is my favorite team of all time. Like, I know the 18 team was better, but the 13 team was coming off the marathon. They weren't supposed to do anything that year. Like, nobody saw that team coming. Like Johnny that was the first time I went to Fenway Park as well. The first game I was there was July 3rd against the Padres, and Johnny Gomes hit a walk-off home run over the monster.
That's cool.
I can still see it like clear as day, where we were sitting, everything.
Yeah.
And that team, like Poppy's home run in the ALCS, the Grand Slam off of Benoit to put them up. And it was like game 2, but it was just that like such a huge momentum shift. And then Johnny Gomes hitting a home run at Tiger Stadium off Verlander to win the game like 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was also the age, like I look at these guys now and there's some guys in the minors younger than me.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, this is a little like odd of me cheering for these guys, but I'll keep doing it because they're wearing the Red Sox jersey. But when
Right.
you're a kid, it's like
It's different. Yeah.
these guys are adults, like, who, like, I could be one of these guys, and they're like just hulking. Like David Ortiz, just a hulking guy. And
Yeah.
it's just cool to see them hit bombs.
So when was the Boston Marathon?
It
Yeah,
was
what?
2013. Patriots Day on 2013. So it was probably late April.
See, I didn't make that connection. So the Red Sox win the World Series after the Boston Marathon bombing that really shook that town, and the Astros won the World Series right after Hurricane Harvey caused all
Yeah,
that
that's true.
historic flooding. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't make the connection with Boston doing that. Now the Boston World Series that was of the four that I probably liked the best was the first one, because that's the one where they came back down 3-0 to beat the Yankees.
That was, I wish I was alive for that, because I
Yeah.
would have been like pacing
What year was
around.
that?
That was 04. So I
04?
was 2 years old.
You're two. Okay.
But before we won in 13, because we went 04, 07, and then 13. So that gap between 07 and 13, like I started watching really watching sports. Like my first sports memory, I think, is like a random Red Sox and Rays game. It was like a very random. It was at Fenway Park, and I think it was really cold out, so it was either like in September or in April. And then my next one is the Colts and Saints Super Bowl, because I'm also a Colts fan. I'm not a Patriots fan. And like I didn't get to see any Red Sox World Series for what felt like forever in my sports life, which it was probably 2009 to 2013. Like it's not that long.
You needed to talk to some of the guys that waited from 1918 to 2004. Those were the guys.
Well, my grandfather was a diehard Red Sox fan too, and he had to, he lived with that, where he was like, I remember when they didn't win. They didn't win anything.
They didn't win anything.
And me and him would talk. We talked on the phone probably 5 days a week during the baseball season, just talking Red Sox. And I was still young at the time, and I was like, "Oh, they're never gonna win." And he goes, "We've won twice. Like we broke the curse. Like calm down."
Yeah.
Because when you're
again.
When you're like 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, however old, like every game is live or die. You think it's live or die, and then you start to realize there's 162 games. If we lose this one random July game, I think we'll be okay.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't, I was born the same year that the Astros became a team. So we're less than a month apart. Not became a team, but played their first game, regular season game. So they became a team the year before. But so when I was those ages, the Astros were still a team that was never given any chance to win anything.
Yeah.
The first Astro team that was really good in terms of like finishing 500 was maybe 70 or 71. I was in elementary school. And then the first team to win a division was 80. The team that won the division that year, hitting 58 home runs, I think, for the whole team.
Yeah.
It was just insane. That was a crazy team, the way it was put together around just speed and no power. Of course, the Astrodome was very hard to hit home runs anyway. So and we had Nolan Ryan, of course, and J.R. Richard. That was the year he had the stroke and didn't finish the year. But yeah, so I didn't grow up watching a baseball team that was expected to ever really compete.
So we'll start the draft in a few minutes because he's ready. But when were the Oilers there? They were there until the mid 90s.
Yeah, I don't know, because I'm not that big of a football fan, and my family we were Cowboy fans. I think I think the Houston Oilers left in the early 90s, but they left before the Astrodome went out of business with baseball.
Because I know they used to play in the Astrodome too.
They did. They played in the Astrodome until 96. So I was close. I said 93, but it was 96. So yeah, I knew that when the Astros left in '98 was their last year, the Oilers had already left.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but the Oilers were like the Astros. They were really bad. They had some 1-13 seasons when I was, young, and my we were just Cowboy fans.
That's
The
probably a
in my
lot more
family.
enjoyable, I would say.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they did win more. I don't know why. I don't know why that was. I never really asked why. I think part of it was this is really a throwback reason, but was where we lived out in we were in the Houston media market, but kind of on the edge.
Hmm.
And so the Cowboys were on CBS, which for us was Channel 11 then, and the Oilers were on NBC, which was Channel 2 for us. And CBS always had much better reception than Channel 2
Okay.
with the rabbit ears up on, that was long before cable or any of that stuff. So I, I'm sometimes I think it was just that simple that you knew you could watch the the Cowboys no matter what the weather was, but if the weather was a certain way, the reception for the Oiler game on Sunday afternoon would not be very good. So that
Huh.
seems crazy, but I never really knew why. That's when you're a kid, you tend to watch what your dad watches, and that's what we watched. And of course, the Cowboys were good. They were already competing in Super Bowls when I was old enough to know there were Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to change my allegiance.
Yeah, my dad is he was my whole family's from Boston, but my dad was never a big football fan when he was a kid, but he loved Eric Dickerson. So when Eric Dickerson went to the Colts, for some reason it just stuck with him to be a Colts fan. He has no idea why. And because everyone else are Pats fans, and I've grown up a Colts fan, and I think I love the Colts, and I will never stray from the Colts. But I probably picked the wrong side, just success wise.
Yeah,
It would be nice to win a Super Bowl instead of having my quarterback retire, very
yeah,
abruptly. Although I love Andrew
yeah.
Luck, I don't blame him whatsoever. But you think about what could have been.
Exactly. Yeah, I just don't follow the NFL at all.
Hmm.
I don't watch. I've watched very little football this past year, but yeah, they were already in Indianapolis then. I don't remember when they moved before the Oilers. I think they moved
They
in the
moved in
'80s, maybe
I think 84. They moved in
'84. Yeah,
84. They moved in the middle of the night.
yeah, they loaded up and left.
Literally. I
It's
love
funny.
that. I think that's hilarious. I mean, it's a
I
scumbag
think it
move,
is too.
but it
Yeah,
is so funny that they just hired college kids, said, "Here, move all your stuff." And then the college kids got caught stealing like Johnny Unitas's jersey. They had it for like team memorabilia just to, put
I
in their
didn't.
new Hall of Fame.
I did
Some
not know
kids
that.
were running around a frat house wearing the Johnny Unitas jersey and helmet, throwing around a game used football. And then like somebody from the Colts comes knocking at their door at the frat house, and they're like, "Do you have our stuff?" And it's literally like they said it was tucked in the corner. You could see it from the front door, but everything was kind of tucked away, trying to hide it. It was so
That's
funny.
like yeah, that's like the college kids that steal street signs and then put it on their dorm
Yeah,
wall.
yeah.
It's
I
like
wouldn't even do that. I don't even have a
yeah,
dorm, but I think that's so dumb. Like they're gonna know you stole it. It's
exactly.
very easy to know that you stole it.
Yeah, because now of course you put in those days not so much, but yeah, you know that if that happened now that all that would be on social media on Instagram like the next day.
I'm sure. I wouldn't be surprised if they put trackers in though. Like
Oh
little, like you stick a little tracking chip and just have it just in case. They got like
yeah,
dog tracking chips. I'm sure they
yeah.
can easily do that.
I don't know if they would do that for everything. Maybe the most important memorabilia, a
Yeah,
United jersey might warrant a tracking chip.
something like that.
Yeah, but a Earl Morrall jersey maybe not so much.
Maybe not. So we're gonna get the draft started. I don't know if you were able to read the rules. I guess the email may have not gotten through. Um,
I can read it real quick.
so it's I'll explain it. It's a logo draft. So we do one. Oh boy, I actually kind of forgot. I have my thing up here. It's one car logo, one restaurant logo, one college logo, So that can be like a college sports logo or just a regular collegiate logo, a professional sport logo, and then a miscellaneous, which is any other company basically, but you can't reuse a logo from the other.
Okay.
So you can't like draft two sports logos basically.
Okay.
I don't know if my guy is. I don't know where Angel's at, but we'll here pick a number between 1 and 50 because that's how we decide the order.
Me?
Yeah.
33.
All right. I want to wait for Angel. I always steal part
What?
of his number. Hey, pick your number between 1 and 50.
1 and 50.
Mhm.
What did you say? Wait, what did you say?
Said 33.
33.
Mhm.
42.
42. I'll take let me think. I'm gonna go 2. I'll pull up my random number generator. All right, it's 45. Angel, what spot do you want?
I'll take the last spot.
Last spot?
Yeah.
What spot do you want, Craig? Do you want 1 or 2?
I'll take 2.
Okay, I'll take 1. So if you don't know what a snake draft, do you know how a snake draft works?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. I'm going first. I'm gonna go with a restaurant. This has to be the 1-1. This is probably one of the most recognizable logos on the planet. I'm going McDonald's, Golden Arches.
McDonald's.
I mean, whether you like McDonald's or not, it is the most recognizable logo on the planet. Everybody knows the Golden Arches.
Yeah.
So am I being graded on the value of the logo or the coolness of the logo? Or you just take the logo you want?
It's probably like the value, like how good of a logo, I guess. It's kind of both of them.
Okay. So that being the case, I'm going to take Apple.
I had that. That was on my big board. That was like one of my miscellaneous ones. That's a good one. That's a very popular logo too. Angel, you have 2
All right.
picks.
Let me see. So I'm gonna do a miscellaneous company logo, and it's gonna be Home Depot.
Home Depot.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's the
I
worst
don't
pick
even
of
know
the
what that
draft.
logo looks like.
I don't know, bro. I feel like it's a good one.
Your first round pick.
Yes, bro. I got a lot of memories in Home Depot, man.
You could have gotten that at the last pick. That is the worst pick of the draft.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty good.
I think that was the worst one. I mean, you have so many other logos. So many other logos.
I started off with the strongest one, man.
Not the strongest one.
Leave my alone.
That's the most shocking. That's the most shocking pick I've ever heard.
I'm trying to think of like an NFL draft equivalent selection. Who of the Jets taken through the years that always get booed when they take the play?
Zach Wilson. Who's the other guy that they took?
I don't know.
Sam
Ken
Darnold.
O'Brien, back in that they did a 30 on 30 on the Dan Marino John Elway.
The Ken O'Brien one. Yeah,
Ken O'Brien.
That's not a good pick. I mean, I don't even know if that's as bad as Home Depot.
If you were the Jets and took Home Depot in the first round, you would be run out of town. That's very obscure. I don't even know what their logo looks like. I'm gonna have to look for it later.
It's the HD. It's like white HD, and then I think it's like an orange square behind it.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I hope you redeem yourself with the next pick.
All right. This next pick, it's a nice one. No, it's the professional sports team logo, the Real Madrid soccer team.
Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Let me look this
nice
up.
And fancy, man. It looks so nice.
Madrid. All right, that's not a bad one. I didn't even think about that one. I don't think about soccer, but
It's a good one.
that's not a bad one. You know, I don't know if that's second round. I mean, you've taken two you've taken two picks that would have made it out of the draft. They didn't even make it on my personal honorable mention. But hey, you do
those
you.
are those are both those would be undrafted free agents.
sometimes sometimes undrafted free agents do really well. You never know. So,
That doesn't mean
maybe the voters will see it differently. But Craig, your second round pick.
Dallas Cowboys.
That's a classic one. I like that. Um, the big star.
Star. Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely not taking the Yankee logo. So it's almost as classic as the Yankee logo. I think the Yankee logo is just so much more worldwide. Jay-Z has done a ton with that, but Dallas Cowboys is probably number 2, maybe number 3 on my list. I have 2 picks to go. Let me think. All right, I'm gonna go with the Nike logo for my second round pick. And I'm gonna go with the Mercedes for a car logo.
That's a good one.
Just that circle with the three,
Yeah.
3 lines, very slick, very fancy. I love it. If I stole hood ornaments, that's the hood ornament I would steal. It's a beautiful logo. I would put it up right here on my wall, right for display for the podcast, but I don't steal hood ornaments. So, but Mercedes it's very nice. I love a nice Mercedes. Craig, your third rounder.
Oh, I'm gonna take I'm gonna take Chevrolet.
Chevy? Is that the plus sign?
And we
Is that
almost
what
got
you're
a
calling
good one.
it? Yeah.
I think there's a few better ones out there. I think Angel hasn't we're not gonna tip picks. Angel hasn't taken a car yet.
Yeah.
I have a few. I think they're just better looking than the Chevy. Chevy's very recognizable though.
I went with recognizable. I'm choosing the more recognizable over the ones that I would have taken if it was just for my personal logo.
That's a good. There's multiple different strategies. That's a good
Yeah.
strategy.
This is like
Angel.
a road game for me. I don't know the exact lay of the land here. I'm trying to play it safe.
Okay, we do this. This is probably our most popular topic, are the drafts that we have. We do some other drafts. A few weeks ago, we do some other things. We did a conspiracy theory episode a few weeks ago, and we do like brackets, which the brackets don't do well whatsoever. So I think we're just discontinuing that one. Sorry, Angel. I know you like the animal fight bracket, but
No, I didn't. You guys were just terrible at it.
what are you talking about? We were terrible at it.
What do you say? What was it? A spider. I think it was a spider. Spider could beat or a panda could beat a spider. No shot, man.
We're not getting into this debate again. A panda would kill a spider. He'd crush him between his claws.
No, you wouldn't.
There's no way.
Oh.
If we're in an arena and it's just two things standing across from each other. We're not in the jungle. They can't hide. The panda can see right in front of them. He'd kill the spider immediately.
Spiders are fast, bro.
I don't care if a spider's fast. It's not fast enough. I get those things are fast in relation to like other small insects, but it still doesn't move very quickly. It moves like a mile an hour.
The only thing the spider would have going for it is that pandas, to me, are very peaceful and docile. So the spider would really have to do something to make the panda want to kill it.
And I think in this situation, they both know that they're fighting for their lives.
They're fighting to advance in the bracket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had this. We I think we went on for about 10 minutes last time just arguing about this. I don't know. It had to have been more. It had to have been like 20 minutes getting through this. We're not getting into that again. That's an infamous moment in our history. Angel, you have 2 picks.
All right. This next one's gonna be the car company logo. It's gonna be the BMW logo.
That's the circle with the checkerboard, right?
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Good job. Let's clap it up. I didn't even have that on my board. I had we're all filled up on cars. Yeah, I had Ferraris, Bentleys, and Teslas. So I think Mercedes was the best choice out of all of them, but I think the Tesla has a good little logo. Just this, it's very simple.
I didn't think about Tesla. I should have thought about that.
And then Bentley's just like Bentley's very different. It's very like regal, I think. And the Ferrari, I don't know. And I picked Ferrari because it's just popular, like the fans of Andrew Tate and stuff. But you know, it's kind of an ugly logo in my opinion. Like the yellow mustard look, and it's not very symmetrical to me. BMW is symmetrical. It's got the checkerboard. You know, each side is different color. You know, split it down the middle. It's just B, half of the M, and then half of the M, and then W. So good pick, Angel.
Thanks, man.
And your next pick, you got another pick.
The next one's a restaurant one. It's a good one, man.
Mm-hmm.
Panda Express.
I was thinking about that. Panda Express. See, you're going in reverse. You're going like bad pick, not as bad, better, good, and your next one's gonna be great. So it's just if we reversed, if you just started taking your round 5 pick at the beginning. Good job.
If you want to think like that, I thought the Home Depot was my strongest.
The Home Depot was the worst pick.
Everyone likes Home Depot song.
I don't care. This isn't a song draft. This is
logo, and you think of the song.
Home Depot. I think of the song. I don't think of the logo.
It's whatever, man.
All right, Craig. 4th rounder.
Oh, I was my runner-up car logo was the Jaguar.
That's a good one.
Logo. I liked their logo, but I don't know. I don't know. I was like Chevrolet's more recognizable.
Mm-hmm.
So restaurant. I'm gonna take one that's I listened to the podcast. I thought it was food, but that's fine. It's I'm gonna take Domino's Pizza. It should be popular with the college crowd because you're constantly dialing at 1 a.m. Whatever.
I love the Domino's pan pizza. I'm gonna be honest. I think it's a fantastic pizza. I mean, Domino's isn't pizza, you know. Like when I say, hey, I want to get some like actual pizza, I'm not calling up Domino's. But I always say
you're not gonna go.
Yeah, I say I want to get Domino's. Everyone knows it's a different. It's not pizza. It's bread and cheese and meat and a little bit of sauce. Right. I always get light sauce on the pan pizza. I like it very doughy. So Domino's is fantastic. It's affordable too.
Yeah, no, if you want to get really good pizza, you go to a really good pizza joint. But if it's late at night and you just need food delivered to your door, you call Domino's.
Yeah, you get it in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, you call Domino's. Yeah, so it's a recognizable logo because if you go through almost any town, at some point you're going to see a car with that Domino's logo on the top of the hood.
That's true. Very true. Let me think. All right, I got my restaurant, miscellaneous. So I have college and sports. I'm actually very surprised I haven't taken college or sports. Those are my 2 favorite, topics out of all 3 of them. My college, I'm going with a very specific one. I'm going with the Notre Dame logo, but it's the Irishman. Like he's like fighting like this. It's a preposterous logo, but I love it. I love that logo. I wish they wore it on their helmets more often. And if like I see anybody with that shirt on, I just laugh because it's hilarious. And then my sports logo. So I'm like between all four of these are kind of equal to me. There's the Red Sox circular logo where it's a circle with the baseball, the Red Sox hanging in the middle, and then it says Boston Red Sox. Then there's the retro Buccaneers logo, um, where he's got something in his mouth and it's that like the creamsicle orange. The Colts bucking Bronco logo where it's the horse kicking his legs back, the cowboy on top of him. That's a sick logo. But I have to go at the Montreal Expos, their logo. If you look at their logo, it actually there's hidden things in that logo. Let me look it up. I can't remember what it exactly is. It is okay. If you look at the Montreal Expos logo, there's an E hidden in there. There's the M, and then there's a B. The E is the red part of the logo that represents the Expos. Obviously, there's the M, that's Montreal, and then the blue part is baseball. So it's Montreal Expos baseball. It's a very clever logo. I love it. And it looks great on any hat. And it's also not a current baseball team, so I can feel comfortable wearing it for like some sort of style. Because I don't wear any other team, even if I'm trying to style it. Like I won't wear a Lakers jersey because I'm wearing yellow shoes, like that type of thing. I can only wear Celtics, Bruins, Red Sox, and Colts. Feels dirty, feels gross when I'm wearing anything else.
But if it's a defunct team, you can be comfortable in it.
So. Yeah, or a minor league team. Love the Savannah Bananas logo. The what's the Portland Sea Dogs, the Woo Sox.
Yeah. I was going to take actually the Chattanooga Lookouts. I guess that's if you ever seen that logo, it's a wonderful logo. But I think the Cowboys is a more recognizable logo than the Chattanooga Lookouts.
That one is cool. Yeah, that's very cool. Like if you're going for just your personal stuff and like style, that's a really cool logo. But not a lot of people. Yeah. Everyone's gonna be like, "Is that a restaurant? Is that like a Chuck E. Cheese?"
Exactly.
All right, your fifth rounder, Craig. You have college.
Yeah, I'd like to take my own, but it would not be very popular of a choice. I went to Texas A&M. Okay. I'm certainly not taking the University of Texas, which is better recognized, but I'm going to take one that's very recognizable. It's UCLA script.
That one's a cool one. I like the, I don't like how their baseball team has the B on their hat. Yeah. Because it looks exactly like the Red Sox B, except just a different color.
So you take that a little personal, huh?
Yeah. And now the Red Sox also have their Boston Marathon jerseys, which they wear with the hat, which happens to be the same logo or the same color scheme as UCLA. Yeah. It was like, guys, I know, like, I love those jerseys. Those are cool jerseys, and they always play really well in them. But you can't wear that hat.
When that City Connect jersey came out, it was one of the first ones.
Yeah.
But when that City Connect jersey came out, I felt like just retire the concept. They're not going to ever do a better City Connect jersey than the Red Sox Boston Marathon jersey. It's not going to happen.
It's a great jersey. They wear it like when they want to really get hot. They want to switch things up. And I love it. But you get that hat. It's preposterous. It's the exact same logo as the UCLA Bruins.
I don't know why you would have that cool UCLA script and not use that as your hat.
I know. It makes zero sense.
It doesn't make any sense. But some of the other City Connect jerseys have been pretty good. I like the Arizona one.
That one's really cool.
That was good. And the Astros had a good one. The Space City jersey was good.
Yeah, that one's really cool too. It has like the stars up top.
Just in terms of lettering, lines, and color scheme, Boston, they'll never top it. No one will ever get a better result from that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good pick. Angel, your college team or your college?
My college.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. I'm just gonna do USF.
USF.
Yeah.
Oh, you had.
I've just been around there the most. So
You had a layup with with UNC, University of North Carolina, and you missed. You you had a layup right up there, and you just threw the ball out the backboard and into the other team's hoop.
So that's not a bad logo. I just don't know. I mean, half the people will say if they see the logo, they'll think, is that the Chicago Bulls or
Well,
you know,
Angel, do you mean the like the bowl, or do you mean the like just the regular USF logo?
oh
Oh, okay. All right. I mean,
yeah,
that's not bad.
it's a nice logo, but I just don't know how well known it is.
You have um
I think it's
the
marginally better known than the Home Depot logo.
that is especially around these parts. A lot of our
Yeah,
listeners are from here. Um
yeah,
the you know, you had UNC right there. University of Texas. I mean, the UNC too. Like, I love that Carolina blue. They have a blue specifically named after them. Like, if you walk into like a paint store and you say, "I want Carolina blue," it's going to be the University of North Carolina blue.
yeah,
It is
yeah.
the shoes. There's the UNC Jordan 1s, fantastic. And Angel, you went with USF.
it's fine, bro. Also,
Hometown pick.
can I actually change my miscellaneous one, bro?
No, it's too late. Hands off the chess piece.
Yeah,
Lots of unsigned free agents to choose from.
and it would have been better.
You Angel, do you want to go over your honorable mentions?
My honorable mentions.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
have any honorable mentions?
I don't really have that many, but yeah.
Well, what? Yeah, which one did you want to replace with Home Depot or replace Home Depot with?
The Pornhub logo.
I thought about that.
Or the OnlyFans one. I wasn't sure.
No, that one's not a good one.
Yeah, the Pornhub one is better.
That is like an objectively cool logo. I like that logo. There's the different color schemes, like how they have it. It's in the box and it's just the PH, and then it's black with the orange P, and then
It's
orange
cool.
with the black H. It is a cool logo. Craig, do you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, I like the Kansas logo, University of Kansas, the Jayhawk with the
Jayhawk's
KU.
really cool. Yeah.
And I like the Amazon logo because what I really like about the Amazon logo, it's the A to the Z. They got that little arrow underneath. Everything from A to Z.
Yeah, that's true. You know, the first time I saw that, I was like, how did I not get that?
And then I had a lot under miscellaneous. I like the Olympic Games logo. I mean, that's an iconic logo.
The rings, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess, well, I mentioned a couple of the other ones. I didn't really have any other restaurant ones. I thought about KFC. Colonel Sanders is pretty much well known.
Yeah, I did think about that one, but I was like, I just don't like the look of it. I don't like the look of the logo. Colonel Sanders, that's more of a mascot, I would say.
Yeah. I don't know. Those are the ones that are on my list that stand out that I almost picked. But once you took McDonald's and gave your reasoning, there was no way I could pass on Apple.
Yeah, I mean, McDonald's was like the clear 1-1. I don't even know how Angel said. I don't know how he laughed at that. McDonald's is a clear 1-1. You can't pass on McDonald's if you give up. I mean, there's no way. What else beats the McDonald's logo? They're everywhere. Maybe the U.S. flag. I mean, that's the U.S. flag is actually objectively, I love the U.S. flag. I got it right here, but I don't think it's a fantastic flag. I think there's much better looking flags out there than ours. Just the way that it's like, it has the box here, like randomly in the corner, 50 stars, and then like the stripes where some of the stripes aren't as long as the other ones. Maybe I think the founding fathers could have done better, but I'll have to go back and tell them.
I don't think that they're responsible for the flag though. I think the flag came later.
You're probably right. I don't know.
I think they had their hands full with like a constitution.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe I wonder if they had somebody or whoever did the flag. Then I'll be like, hey, listen,
Yeah.
let's brainstorm a few other ideas. I think like Benjamin Franklin had a few ideas that were pretty cool. Could have could have done something different, but it does look good flowing in the wind. I'll say that
Yeah,
it
there's
looks very
so
majestic.
many countries now. I don't know that there was. I don't know how many countries had like a flag back in the early 1800s,
Yeah,
and but it seems to me that country flags have gotten simpler over time, not more complex. Like
yeah,
newer, like now you'll see flags that are just like half the top half of the flag will be one color and the bottom half will be another color, and
hmm
that's it.
yeah.
You know,
I
no new countries have flags that are as busy as ours.
Yeah, ours is there's a million things, and
Yeah,
it's cool to look at, and it looks really good in slow motion when it's flowing in the wind, but just too much, way too much going on. Like Japan has a really cool one, just the dot in the middle. I like that. Um, the Soviet Union one, surprisingly, was a pretty cool flag. The
yeah.
hammer and sickle with all the
One
red.
one
I th
color, one logo. That's it.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Maybe we don't like the whole Soviet Union what they're doing over there, but it also failed, but
Well, I
you
don't
know,
think it was the flag's fault. I think there were
no,
other issues.
no, we got to separate the art from the artist when it
Exactly.
comes to this.
Yeah.
Um, my honorable mentions, I had the Taco Bell. The bell is pretty cool. I always think about the commercial too. Just that thing ringing. Um, the old Wendy's logo, not the new one that they have. The old one where it was very that was more nostalgia. It was like a very ugly logo, but it worked really well. Like it was a square with a circle on top with Wendy in there. Then it just said old fashioned hamburgers, Wendy's. Not very visually pleasing, but I still like it. The White Castle logo too. That one's where it looks like you're kind of walking up to the castle, and it says White Castle over the castle. Um, I had Oregon for my college one. That was that's a very simple one, just the letter O. I also did have University of Texas. I like the Longhorn. I'm not a Longhorn fan, but I like the Longhorn. That thing that's pretty cool. I mentioned the sports ones. Miscellaneous. I had the Jordan logo. Which I that's that is a part of Nike, but I don't think that's nobody really thinks about Jordan attached to Nike. Jordan jumping with his legs out, and then the Playboy logo, very famous logo. The rabbit ears, um, just very popular. It's probably more in America than I think anywhere else, but the Playboy logo is very iconic. Um,
Yeah, that's a good one.
yeah, so I'll go over the picks here, and I think we'll be done. So Alex, McDonald's, Nike, Mercedes, Notre Dame Irishman, and Montreal Expos. Craig, Apple, Dallas Cowboys, Chevy, Domino's, UCLA. And Angel, Home Depot, Real Madrid, BMW, Panda Express, and the USF Bowl. That is one of the most questionable, let's say, draft boards from Angel there.
Bro, leave my draft alone, man.
I'm gonna come back. We're gonna come back to this one day and look at that draft and be like, what the hell happened? Angels had some good drafts before. I give it to him. But
Some good.
this one, this might be your most infamous moment. I'll say that. um, but thank you so much, Greg, for coming on. That's all. That's all we got. Are you guys on social media? Like, do you have a social media thing at all?
Well, Hooks and Runs is on Twitter. Hooks and
Okay.
Runs. Just look for Hooks and Runs there, and we're on all the platforms: Google, Apple, the whole bit. We don't do a video. We
Okay.
don't have a video component yet. We always talk about it, but we haven't got there yet.
Okay.
So it's a weekly podcast release on Thursday.
On Thursdays. What time
Right.
on Thursdays? Do you have a specific
Whenever,
one or just
whenever I can manage.
all right. And
Almost
then
always by 11 o'clock at night, but sometimes in the morning.
okay. All
If
right.
if you subscribe, it goes right to your email.
Yeah, I'm trying to find you guys here actually. There we go. 115 episodes.
Yeah.
A lot of episodes. That's cool. Yeah, that's double us at least. Have you guys been
Well,
doing this 2 years, or have you some podcasts like take a break?
Yeah, March of 2020. We did take a little bit of a break into 21 during 21.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not quite as many weeks, but yeah, we started a podcast about baseball and music in March of 2020, about 1 week before spring training shut down and concerts ceased to be a thing. So
Yeah,
we scrambled. I don't think we caused that. I just think it was really bad timing, but it's been fun. We've managed to always find something to talk about.
Okay.
We do a lot of baseball history. We all like baseball history, so you never know.
All right. Well, everyone go
Well, thanks
check
for
that
having
out.
me. I've had a good time. This has been fun. I appreciate the invitation. I
No
really
problem.
do.
We're launching a football podcast as well. This week actually. That's like a part of our network. Basically, we're trying to start a little something up here. But I would love, if you guys want me to come on, we can talk a little October baseball. I'd love to come on.
Okay.
Add to your show. Just shoot me a text. Let me know.
I'll do it for sure.
Thanks so much. Love you, Angel. Love you, Leighton, even though you're not here. We'll see you guys later. Angel, you gonna say it?
Love you guys.